Welcome back to Portside with the Pilots. I'm now joined by University of Portland Director of Athletics, Scott Lakem. Scott, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Pleasure. We're really pleased with where the show's come and excited for another year.
Well, thanks, Scott. Now, it seems like the summer just started, but actually the fall sports season is just around the corner. How has your summer been going?
I'm not sure there is a summer in this business anymore, which is good news and bad news. The highlight of the summer has been the track team and the great finish by Lauren LaRocco and Reed Buchanan and Woody Kincaid and Kaylee Van Loo at the NCAA championships and into the Olympic trials with Scott Fauble and Woody Kincaid has been very exciting.
What's the current status of the NCAA in terms of financial stability and conference realignment, and how is the University of Portland athletics positioned to be successful in the current landscape?
From our standpoint, I like where the NCAA is headed. A lot of the new distributions that are coming to the institutions will be academic-based and student-athlete welfare-based, and that's an area that all the schools in the WCC and UP in particular, having our student-athletes have the best experience they can and the best education that they can get is paramount. So I think it aligns very well for us at this point in time.
How much does UP really value student-athlete welfare, and how is the athletic department kind of addressing that?
Student-athlete welfare is huge. We just hosted the WCC Student-Athlete Leadership Summit over the weekend with 2 student-athletes from each institution. It's interesting to hear what's important to them. I think the one area we've really attacked it in recent years is giving the student-athletes a greater voice. We now have a student-athlete that sits on our Presidential Advisory Committee on Athletics to give them a greater voice. I sit down with the SAC once a month or so to talk about what's important to them. I think a lot of it's looking at the national landscape. You talked about Jamie and making sure we're on board there. But I think the biggest things to answer the question directly is facilities and meals. I mean, the meal piece has been completely deregulated by the NCAA, and that's allowed us to do some more things. And our student athletes have been very good about giving us direct feedback on what we can do better.
Over the past few months, we've seen 2 high-impact hires here at the University of Portland. First one is Nick Carlin-Voigt with the men's soccer program. What has he done with the program in the first few months to kind of get UP soccer back to being a national title contender?
Nick has brought a tremendous amount of energy, as anyone who has met him can attest. Good, play. Good. He went out literally in 7 or 8 weeks and recruited a top 15 recruiting class in the nation. Now the challenge for Nick is going to be to put those pieces in place when the season starts in about 6 weeks. But recruiting is a big reason why we made the decision to go with Nick, and he's proved that he's a winner in that area. Second
high impact hire is Terry Porter. What has the hiring of such a Portland icon meant to the University of Portland, and what do you think it's doing with the basketball program?
I think the first moment we realized it was high impact was the press conference. Terry's been great on campus. He's been very approachable. The student athletes have appreciated his basketball know-how. He's hired a very strong staff with Bob Cantu from USC and UTEP and Ben Johnson from Washington State and promoting Kramer Knutson. Now the challenge for Terry, which is what he's out doing right now, is recruiting the players that will help us succeed in the long term.
Why has this been such an exciting time for development at the University of Portland?
I started here on July 1st, 2012, and I was trying to think the other day of what the campus looked like then and what it looks like now. From the building we're sitting in, which has been an unqualified success on every level, from a campus standpoint and an athletic standpoint. The Pilot House, which has been a critical gathering space on campus. We have a new residence hall that we hear the trucks going as we speak that will be done in October. We have a new academic building that will come online in the next 12, 18 months. And then the river property, which is exciting for me. I expect a new boathouse and dock in the next 12 months. I expect 2 new full-size fields down there in the next 12 to 18 months. And then, of course, what we've been able to do with the Child Center back of house with locker rooms, training room, weight room, and then Joe Etzel Field having a complete facelift with lights and turf and berm seating and everything else we've done in that facility. It's an arms race in this business, whether we like it or not. I think where we are in the arms race is a place we're very comfortable with being, but improving our facilities, which then improves the fan and student athlete experience, is critical.
And lastly, why should Pilot fans be excited for the 2016-2017 year?
I'm excited just thinking about the fall, to think about the energy, Jamie, that you and I have talked about with the men's soccer program. And Nick's brought in a great staff with Leonard Griffin, who's a former Timber, Logan Emery, who played here and played in the MLS. I think we'll see some immediate improvement there. The volleyball program had their best season in program history last year. Have everybody back and a couple of high-impact transfers and a All-American prep setter that we think will have an impact. Women's cross country with Lauren LaRocco, they could be nationally ranked. We know men's cross country will be nationally ranked. The fall will be a good start. I think there's going to be a lot of excitement in November when Terry puts on the coat and tie and roams the bench. And then you extend into the spring. Our rowing program is making great strides. Track had their best season and first national ranking ever. And you're going to start to see some more movement on baseball. We won 5 more games this year, had a good win over Oregon State. It will be his roster this year with 17, 18 new players. So I think program for program, I think you're going to see some real advancements there.
Well, Scott, it was great sitting down with you today. Thanks for joining us on Portside.
Thank you, Jamie. Go Pilots.
Yeah, go Pilots. And thank you guys for joining us on this episode of Portside with the Pilots. We'll see you next month.